Okay, this part of the lecture will focus on the mean, a very powerful measure of central tendency. The mean is the arithmetic average obtained by adding up all the scores and dividing by the total number of scores. We all call this the average. You've learned this your entire life. I'm hoping that the idea of an average is not new to you. In statistics, we do call it the mean, but people will also use the word average, no problem there. We just add up all of our scores and divide by the total number of scores. The important thing to understand for statistics is that extreme scores will influence the mean. If we go around our classroom and ask how much money do you make a year to every person in the classroom, and then Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk walk into the room and they tell us their income for the year, that is going to pull our mean or our average up very high. And we might get a number like the average person in our classroom makes, maybe $10 million a year. Now, that's not very good because we have a very small classroom and we're going to put in one Jeff Bezos or one Elon Musk. It's going to pull our average up a lot because there's only, 20 people in our class. So extreme scores will influence the mean, and it is a matter of how large of a sample we have. If our classroom was 250 million people, then not a problem. But in a classroom with only 20 people, somebody making billions of dollars a year, it's really going to pull our score up. So just keep that in mind. It's really important for statistics. Here's our formula for the mean. And you might be saying to yourself, oh my goodness, I know how to calculate an average. Why do we have to have this literally another language for our formula? So a lot of statistics are using this type of notation, actually all statistics. So you do actually have to understand what we're talking about here. So here's our formula. It's y bar equals summation of y over n. So let's figure out what each one of these things is. Y bar is our notation for the average. So instead of average, we'll say y bar. We'll use this language a lot in our class. So to say average, y bar. Y is our variable, and n is the number of cases or observations. I use those two words interchangeably, cases and observations. So for example, let's say you had 5 tests. So you're going to have 5 y's, okay? You have a variable score on each test. And then we have number of tests is 5. So you add up all your score and divide by 5, and that's your average test score. So here's an example for us. We have our cases in this column, and we have our variable y in this column. So y is our variable, the variable is income, and how many cases do we have? Well, our notation for that is n. N is the total number of cases or observations. So in this case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cases, so n equals 11. We're going to add up all of our y's. You can do that on a calculator, and then divide by 11. So for summation of y, we have 427,000. If you added it up, you would have gotten that number, 11 observations. So we're going to divide that amount by 11, and we're going to say our mean score is $38,818.18. I'm hoping this is not new to anyone. It's just an average. We have one other example for us. Here's a hypothetical distribution of data again. We have our cases here. 1 case, 2 case, 3 case, all the way down to 10 cases. And we have our y. Our y is going to be GPA. That's our variable. We call our variables y, z, x, things like that, of course. So how many cases do we have? 10. What's the first thing we're going to do? We're going to add up all these y's. 3.5 plus 1.4 plus 2.2 plus 1.5. Add up all those scores on your calculator or some other device. We're going to get the summation of y is 28.3. Our n is 10 because we had 10 cases this time. 28.3 divided by 10 is 2.83. The mean GPA is 2.83. Again, hope that's not new to you. It's just the arithmetic average, and we've been using it since, I think we started teaching it in like 4th grade. But it is at the centerpiece of all statistics, so I want to make sure everyone knows how to calculate it. We're going to do an example in class, but I'll show it to you now. How many miles do you live from Copper Mountain College? So we would go around the room, everyone would say, I live 10 miles away, I live 15 miles away, I live 30 miles away. We're going to add up all the scores, divide by the total number of students in the classroom, that's n, and we'd get the average miles from Copper Mountain College. And I will also show you how to do it on Stata. It'll take very, very quick. It'll take 5 seconds to do on Stata. Okay, I hope you understand the average. We will come back and talk about it in subsequent lectures, but I want to make sure everyone knows how to calculate it and they saw the formula, because the formula does need to be decoded, and we're going to use those notations throughout the semester. Y, summation of y, n, and y bar. So I recommend flashcards if you're struggling to decode this language. You are learning a new language, so you should think about it like a language. Have a good day.